when I see mental health and I see things, I'm like, okay, there's a correlation between past trauma and what I have going on today,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
And one of the biggest examples I give is the crash out culture,
Oh
right?
Lord.
Mhm.
Dude, I used to be, and I think, I mean, I
Been there.
still got some problems, but I used to be, I was a crash out when
Yeah.
I was a young boy because
Mhm.
I was they was trying to make me the man of the house. Like you had to protect everybody. Is nothing you gotta get.
Mhm.
It's all survival. So in my head, everything was that. Hey everybody, welcome back to season 2 of the Family Business Podcast. Right now we got some special guests in the building.
Mhm.
A good friend of ours, you know, family, track family, Norfolk
Mhm.
State family,
Mhm.
and we've been talking about a little mental health and stuff, especially in the Black and Brown communities. So we wanted to bring on some experts and talk
Mhm.
about it and have fun talking about it and learn about it. So without further ado, of course, it's your boy Rome the Ruler,
Mhm. Kasani over here.
and
I am Quanesha.
Welcome, welcome.
welcome on.
Thank you for
Thank you for
coming.
having me, y'all. I appreciate this. It's good to
Mhm.
catch up with friends
No,
that I haven't seen in
Absolutely.
a long time.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
it's been a while. So you started Norfolk State in what year?
2011.
2011.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Same as her. I
Mhm.
came 2012
Mhm.
at the end. What was your track events? What was your special?
Sprints, 100, 200, 60s. They try to make me a 200 runner, but I'm really not a 200 runner. I'm going to throw it in there because it's underwear. But anything under 100 is me. Like, that's two verses. You could get a 4x1 out of me, but the
Yeah.
200s would take me
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
No, I remember you strong as hell though.
Yeah, but the 200s would take me out.
Yeah.
The 200s, I was never, surprisingly, most people don't know this, y'all. I was never a track runner. I had only ran for like 3 months before I got a scholarship.
No.
I
Really?
promise, yes. So
That's
I was
news.
never used to conditioning. Like track was a chore for me. I was like, what the world? I started in my senior year. I was doing basketball, and
Mhm.
my basketball coach, she was like, "Nina, you need to go outside and run." And I'm like, "No." She was like, "Just go outside." I went out, ran like one, two,
Mhm.
twice. Track coach like, "Come up here Saturday for the track
Mhm.
meet." Came Saturday, I ran. I qualified for states, and
That's
he was
crazy.
like, "All right, after basketball practice, come back out here." So it was this thing where every time after basketball practice, I just go outside. He just was teaching me fundamentals, how to run out of what is it called, y'all? I can't even
Other
remember.
blocks.
The block.
Blocks, yes. And it happened so fast that when I got to Norfolk State, I y'all see I used to always be in the back
Mhm.
because I was not used to conditioning at all.
Mhm.
But I
I just
could have
was
sworn I
naturally
would have
fast.
never thought that
Yeah, I
though.
would have
Most
never
people
knew
don't know
that.
that. Like I've told that story before, but most people don't know that.
That is
That's
crazy.
crazy.
I
But that's
know.
what.
That's
But you was clearly an athlete. Like you were
Yeah,
athletic.
absolutely.
yes. I just didn't know I had it in me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I didn't know I had it in me until
So
it
Mhm.
got
what about
exposed.
basketball?
I
Did you
suck.
say okay? All right. So
Oh, I
Okay.
you were
suck.
you were trash in basketball,
I was suck.
and you found that outlet right at the end.
I knew I sucked. I was always fast though on the
Mhm.
basketball court, which is
Mhm.
why they kept saying go out and run. So
Mhm.
my 11th grade year, they said go outside and run. I went out there. My track coach, he was like, try to jump over these hurdles. I said, see you. No.
Cause that's hard.
Then whole year
Yeah.
later, it was
Uh-huh.
go outside and just run. And I did it, but yeah, they knew I was fast on the basketball court, but
Mm.
I suck.
Heck,
So
I
you
would have
can't
never
beat
thought that.
talent. That's crazy.
No,
For
you
you to get
can't.
a scholarship
It's so
and
crazy.
not even
It's so crazy. It
that's
happened so
crazy.
fast, y'all. I remember Norfolk State came to a track meet. Me and Tori had actually ran against each other.
Really.
Mhm.
Yes, we ran against each other in high school. They came to
Mhm.
give us both our scholarship. I remember at my track meet going to hide in the bathroom crying. Said, I don't want to go to college. I
Yeah.
want to be in nursing school. And yes, I remember it. And I was like,
uh
no, because it happened so fast. I
mhm.
wasn't prepared for it at
Mhm.
No,
all.
I
Mhm.
get that.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like you said, how like it was a chore. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
it felt like when I got to college, I was
Mhm.
like,
It
hey, yo,
wasn't fun
this
no
is a
more.
chore.
Yeah,
Like waking
absolutely.
up, so I had to do
It's
cross
a
country. I
job.
Oh,
didn't
you
do cross
did have to
country
do cross
before.
country.
I
Yep.
played football and track, and
Yeah.
then I had to do cross country and track. And
Mhm.
we had to get up every morning, be outside by like 6:30
Yeah. Cross country was
and run.
different.
And I was like, yo, y'all getting crazy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and that's why they used to laugh, but I always was at the back, like because
Mhm.
I was like, I'm not even about to fake it. I can't keep up in conditioning,
Mhm.
but I was good enough that I could perform,
Hmm.
in my
Mhm.
events. But working out, conditioning, no. Like I was
Yeah.
struggling.
And that's fun for a
Dang.
while, and until a couple years in, and you like, all right, it's harder than just coming to the track meet and sprinting now. Like I gotta
Because what
actually
they
kind of
say,
see what's up.
our sport is y'all is y'all
It's y'all
punishment.
punishment,
Yes,
absolutely.
that's
Absolutely.
how it was.
Mhm.
And I honestly think because it happened so fast, when I no longer had it, that's where I was like, I really wish I could have loved it because I'm gonna hype myself up, y'all. I thought I was like, because in comparison to most of my teammates, they've been running for years.
Yeah,
I'm
Since
like, I'm this
kids.
fast and
Mhm.
I haven't even hit my peak. I would have been in the Olympics. I,
yeah.
I truly feel that way.
Mm.
But I also realized too that because I didn't love it, when I was hurt, I wasn't like trying to get back into the
You
gym.
looking for that way
Yeah.
out?
I'm
You
not,
be like,
yeah.
I need 2 more weeks. Let me get
Yes,
it.
I'm
Yeah.
not
Mhm.
working out. I'm not like strengthening. I'm not doing anything to get back out because I'm like, I don't want to do this anyway.
Yeah.
But looking back, I am grateful of my time running track. I miss it.
Mhm.
I hope my daughter do it.
Mhm.
If she don't, oh well. But I
Yeah.
do miss it.
Yeah.
So seeing it and going back and visiting, watching on TV is my way of still staying connected to it.
No,
Mhm. That's how
yeah,
we feel.
definitely. And I
Absolutely.
coach now. I coach middle school.
Oh
Mhm.
really?
Yeah, I've been doing that
Okay.
for like 4 years now,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I love it. But and everybody be like, why don't you go up to high school? And I'm like, for me, it's because I like to just watch it and
It
see. Like,
becomes a job
yeah,
once you're in high
when
school.
you're in high
Like
school, I'm like, no, I just want to see the kids
because
run.
you're on a performing metrics,
Yeah,
Mhm. Mhm.
and not to say you it's not like that in middle school, but you not responsible for making sure these kids get scholarships.
absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
Absolutely.
100%. That's why I like it at that level right
Mhm.
now. Whereas, because I'm not really big into sports in the first
yeah,
place.
Mhm.
Like for me, it's just
it's fun for
it's
you.
just fun.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I like
Mhm.
to get out there and mentor a little bit
Mhm.
and stuff.
Mhm.
But for the middle school kids, if they don't run the fastest, it's fine because I
yeah.
just taught you how to do a long jump for the first time in your life. You can take that forward and do
But
something.
I think that part is so that being a middle school coach is so pivotal because you're most people first exposure to sports
Right?
where
Mhm.
they're able to grasp the understanding, hey, I like this or I don't like this.
Yes.
So by the time
Mhm.
they get to high school, they're able to say, hey, I want to do this or I don't. I want
Hmm.
to take this more
Mhm.
serious.
Mhm.
Think about doing a sport for the first time and your coach is like, no, you need to be performing
Yeah. Yeah.
like you want to get a
Mhm.
scholarship.
Mhm.
Like, that could deteriorate a lot of kids from wanting to do sports at that
Absolutely.
age. So
No.
that
Mhm.
role in middle school, that's good because this is the time where it's supposed to be fun. Let
Mhm.
them enjoy it, let them experience it, see if they like it. When they get to high school, let the high school coaches deal with that.
Mhm.
Absolutely. No,
Absolutely.
that's a
Mhm.
100% because, and now we go more into like the mental health and start talking about that a little bit,
Okay.
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So as a kid, I know especially for me in my environment, it
Mhm.
was like, all right, y'all got to be like
Ugh.
athletes. You have to be the athlete.
Mhm.
So it was like so much on you, like the
The
boom, 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 boom.
societal
And I'm just
expectations.
like, I don't
Mhm.
even watch football. Like,
Yeah.
what is this?
Yeah.
But in my head, it was like, you got to do this or else.
Yeah.
And that
Mhm.
puts a lot of burden on some of these young
Yeah.
kids because they think that it's all or nothing
Yeah.
on one of these sports or something like that.
Mhm.
Where like for me, again, as a coach in middle school, it's like, look, y'all, just see what you like. Like
Mhm.
even if you don't take that you're a good runner, at least you're learning some like life skills. Like,
Yeah.
hey, just
Mhm.
show up, work hard, practice, whatever. You get a
Mhm.
mentor in life and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a lot of burdens put on
Yeah.
kids, especially from the communities where it's like you have to make it out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Your
Yeah.
parents or your cousins or whatever, everybody's like, you the one.
Yep.
You
Mhm.
going
You
to
the
the
chosen
Olympics.
one.
And you like,
Mhm.
I don't think I'm that fast. I
You the
just think
chosen one.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. But you gotta also think about it too. The societal expectation, it comes from you can be and I'm not going to just speak about black people, right? I'm going to speak about people of color.
Absolutely.
You can be smart, but if it's someone else in a different race, ethnicity that's smarter than you, they're going to be first in line to get that scholarship
Hmm.
before you. So, what is our way out?
It's usually through the performance, like sports.
Performance,
Yeah.
Mhm.
being an athlete, right? So, and I know we're going to get talking a lot about, trauma and intergenerational trauma, but it goes all the way back to history. I always tell people we
Mhm.
carry so many stories. I don't just carry my story. I
Hmm.
carry my mom's story. My mom carried her grandma's story, her mom's story.
Mm.
Mhm.
So think about how all of that come down and how
Mhm.
now we carry these stories that we also
Mhm.
put onto our kids.
Yeah, it's genetically
Mhm.
like it's in our DNA.
It is.
And
I
I'm
and I
glad
know
she
that it's
put it
passed
that
down.
way
That was
too.
very good.
I'm
Yeah.
glad
and,
she put
and,
it
and
that way.
I
Mhm.
remember I went to this
Mhm.
conference and it's this book called Post Traumatic Slave Syndrome.
Oh yeah,
Y'all read
yeah.
it?
That's what I have.
By
Mhm.
Dr. Georgia
I
Drew.
cliff noted it, but yeah,
Mhm.
And
I
she explains it so perfect because it's like when we talk about where trauma comes from
have.
and even the expectations of how we have to be today, you have to think about what our ancestors went through and how that survival mindset. Like, yes, we're far ahead. We still got a lot to go, right? But the survival mindset of what that looked like and how it shapes who we are now.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it is a lot, and that's one of the things that I have had to recondition myself is because, like, yes, I do carry my mom's stories. I am a little black girl from Wickham Court Projects.
Yeah.
My mom was a teenage mom, so it's a lot of stories that I carry,
Shout out
a
to
lot of
teenage moms.
survival.
I'm just saying, shout out to
Listen,
them. I don't teenage day. I'm just saying. Shout out to
listen, but you all are examples
Uh-huh.
of that. You still
Yeah.
can do it too, though, right?
It's a
Absolutely.
thing. And like you said though, her mom was a teenage mom
Yeah,
as well.
before
and it
we
was
get too
she-
deep, I want the people to know who Quanesha
Okay,
is.
Okay.
let's do that.
Because
Let's
we
do that.
have to
We
introduce
about to start
what
rolling.
she
Let's
does.
get
Because
there.
we
Get
was
there.
really about to
Who's
get in,
flowing?
but I want people to know what you do. So, Quanesha,
Yeah.
what is your title? What do you do as your 9 to 5? And what does that mean?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I am a licensed professional counselor, also known as an LPC.
Mm-hmm.
I've been licensed, y'all, for 2 years. However, I have been in the mental health field since I graduated college, which was 2016.
Mm-hmm.
I am a federal employee. I'm gonna say that lightly. But I am a federal employee. However, I also have my own private practice called Lift. Life Insight, Focus, and Transformation. Is birthed based off my childhood. I'm also a licensed professional counsel supervisor, meaning I am now supervising the next generation to become therapists, which I thoroughly enjoy. I love educating others. This field has been so rewarding for me, so I do want to be able to pour back into others. Um, my Instagram name is Mental Ish, y'all. MENTALISHHHH. Okay.
We gonna make sure that's up there. It's
We're going
gonna
to make
pop
sure it
up.
pops
Yes,
up.
Mentalish. That is my Instagram. I don't talk too much about therapy up there, but I do more so on my business site, liftcounselingva.org. But yeah, I focus women and men, most people my age, middle aged adults. I have dealt with some geriatric, which I actually like that population. I started with kids, but I didn't pay my debt to kids. So, now I'm working on. I'm in a point where I want to focus on it, where we really deal with mental health the most. Not to ignore what kids deal with, but this is, I think, the age that we are now is more so a pivotal point of when we are also really seeing how what we went through as kids is
Starting
now
to come.
showing up in
Yeah.
every aspect, relationships, friendships, work.
Absolutely.
So I do have a joy for working with people like middle age.
No, absolutely. And so how many years of school did you do altogether?
I took the long way, y'all. So I did not get my bachelor's in anything related to counseling. I went for my master's in rehab counseling because I knew I wanted to do counseling. However, I realized rehabilitation counseling, it limited me to vocational with individuals with disabilities. I did enjoy it. I worked for the state for a few years doing that, but I didn't want to be limited in a box. So I ended up going back for my LPC in 2019. That program, minimum 2.5 years, minimum. But it's a lot of work that comes after that. You have to do a residency. I mean, I'm no doctor, but I will like to say sometimes I feel like you're a doctor of the mind. That's what I like to say because you have to do a residency. You have to be competent to be in this field because you're working with people who have a lot of stuff to unpack. So if you do not know what you're doing, you can damage people more
Absolutely.
further than where they at, right?
Right.
So you have to do a lot of resident hours. It varies state by state, which is a good thing that I do like. Each state has different requirements. The residence hours could take additional 2+ years. So in a whole, if you get your master's in clinical mental health or even licensed clinical social work, you looking at 4 to 5 years to be a fully licensed. But it's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that time goes by quickly too.
It does, because I mean,
Yeah.
you're still getting paid. It's not
Yeah.
like a internship necessarily. You're employed full time. You just were required to have supervision. You were required to have certain direct hours and indirect hours. So it's just, it's job experience.
Right. Right. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Do you focus on a specific like specific study or age group? Like is it just 18 to such and such?
Yeah.
Or like how does that
So
go?
when I first started, I was doing everything. I was doing intensive at home, getting hours doing that. So I was working with kids. Then full time I was employed with the CSB.
Mhm.
I got a lot of experience from the CSB. People be sleeping on community service board because everybody they want to do therapy. I'm on private practice because that's where the money's at. That's where most people feel like, right? But when you want to become a well round therapist, that was my biggest thing. I need an experience in every aspect of counseling. The CSB exposed you to so much because you are seeing people from all different backgrounds. Like certain diagnoses don't look the same, right? So I'm able to things that we talk about the depression, anxiety, like okay, cool. But we talking about like the mood disorder, the psychotic disorders that you're not really going to see outside of being in those settings unless you're in the hospital.
Right.
So the CSB, I did walk-ins, assessments, and intake. So I was able to gather a lot of exposure. I was able to practice more so doing my diagnosing. That was kind of pretty much all ages. I was exposed to the substance use community. You know, what we talk about now, the co-occurring disorders, we not even just dealing with mental health. We're dealing with substance use too. So that kind of opened a lot of doors for me. And then I kind of slowly branched off to it's something that's called PSR, it's psychosocial rehabilitation program. That's where you're only dealing with people with mood disorders or psychotic disorders. So we're looking at the depression, the schizophrenic, the schizoaffective, the bipolar, and it was a day program. I love that job. It was a day program. I love that job. I love those clients. Like I miss them so much. Um, but it's various aspects to counseling. You just got to figure out where you want to be. I think to me, my biggest thing was I want to be a well-rounded clinician. I don't want to just be a therapist, right? Because a therapist is you wear one hat. Being a well-rounded clinician, I wear multiple hats. Sometimes I may have to be a mentor. Sometimes I might have to be a case manager. I may have a client in session and we dealing with a government shutdown right now. They may not have access to certain foods and stuff. I'm like, okay, let me send you some referrals. Let me give you some resources. So my biggest thing was being a well-rounded clinician versus therapist because that is what opened doors for me. Even now to this day, most jobs I'm overqualified for it for only to be 2 years, to be completely honest, because I have legit put in so much work in 2 years to be far as my work experience that they like, oh my God, you're good. We want you, but you're a little overqualified. We're not going to even be able to pay you what you want because you have really I really went in my 4 years of being in school and even getting these hours.
Yeah, and like you said, clinician. I used to work with clinicians all the time when I was on the police department. And sometimes they would like ride with us as we go to the different CIT calls and stuff. And for them to have to be able to assess somebody like on the scene,
I do that too.
and to like you be like, okay, this is I'm gonna help them get set up here or there. That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. So I know what you're talking about, pre-screeners, which I've done some experience in pre-screeners as well. It is a lot of work. It honestly is not a one-man show. It takes a team, to be honest.
Absolutely.
It does.
Because I would be like trying to do the security part of it, like all right, making sure because this person may have just tried to commit self harm, and you like I'm trying to talk them down, make sure the weapons ain't involved, and then the clinician would be like, hey, let me help you get some
Let's help
resources and
de-escalate.
how you feeling and this and that. So yeah, that's
And every situation is going to be different. It's a case by case situation. Times are hard now for a lot of individuals, right? And resources are limited. So every situation is a case by case situation. You may just come upon a person. They're saying they don't want to be here, but it don't mean they're suicidal.
Right. They really like some of them are really like, I just need somebody to come listen to me.
I need help.
I need some
Or
help.
life would be better if I wasn't here. If my circumstances was different.
I commend you on, in a sense, like you said, you're overqualified by exposing yourself to all the different things to make you a better clinician. Um, the world might not value that, but the fact that you did that on your own makes you a better clinician to your clients and stuff. Like that itself, without being told to do that and you just doing it on your own means that you actually care about who you take care of or who you are servicing at that time. So I commend you for that because a lot of people get into these jobs, any job, right? And they do the bare minimum, and the fact that you are able to over excel in your profession by exposing yourself or overexposing yourself, um that makes you a great person deep down. So you, in a sense, are doing this for a job, but you're doing it for yourself and for your community. So I want to thank you for all those people that you're servicing.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I honestly would rather be overqualified than underqualified, to be honest.
Yep.
And I know we're gonna get talking to more so like the mental health part too, but a part of like moving forward with mental health is getting removing yourself outside that box, right? Some people will settle just for being underqualified to be in certain positions, right? But also that goes back is a whole trauma response, is a whole trauma narrative attached to that. So yes, I would rather be overqualified than underqualified, right? Because me being overqualified is gonna get me in the doors that's for me.
Exactly.
Without me having to minimize myself or shrink myself to
Absolutely.
be in certain spaces, which again could be a trauma response, y'all.
It could be. Now, I like that we talking about, because this is what happens usually, right?
Yeah.
People talk about the mental health stuff and they go on to this like oversensitive uh explanation of it. And what I mean is some people just they exaggerate. Oh well, I got trauma from this and that. Where except
The extremes
the
of the
extremes,
pain. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
as opposed to, how can we put it a good way? But culturally, like people like us who come from actual
Like
struggles and see
marginalized
stuff,
communities, yeah.
marginalized community. I'm like, no, we have real problems
Yeah.
that need to be talked about.
Yeah.
Because I know, and I'm gonna give myself an example. As a young boy, I was exposed to so many things that I should not have been exposed to. And as I every time as I get older, I'll be like, oh shit,
That wasn't right.
that was crazy.
Right. I didn't realize at the time that, but this should have not happened.
That should have never happened. Like I should have never been doing that.
Yeah.
Or never even been exposed to these things. So when I see mental health and I see these things, I'm like, okay, there's a correlation between past trauma and what I have going on today. Right. And one of the biggest examples I give is the crash out culture.
Oh
right?
Lord.
I used to be, and I think, I mean, I still got some problems, but I used to be. I was a crash out when I was a young boy because I was, they was trying to make me the man of the house. Like you had to protect everybody. Is nothing. You gotta get. It's all survival. So in my head, everything was that. Like it could be the smallest thing. Oh, we crashing out.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna have to prove that I can hurt something or do something so y'all could leave me alone and I could protect my mother or whatever it is. And as it got older, it's like I start being aware of it. But it's like, dude, you a big ass dude now. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
The good thing is you have that self awareness, but there's men out here right now, women who are dating these men who don't have that self awareness.
Absolutely.
And that's where that craziness comes from. So
it's scary. I get scared when it happens.
Right into that segment part though, right? About especially like we'll focus on black men. We'll talk about that, right? So when I first started working with kids, I wrote this down. I was like, boys don't cry. That was like, and not because that's what I believe, but that was just, I was like, I want to focus on this statement: boys don't cry. So let's kind of go back to childhood. You know, we do know that in the households, in certain households, we're told that you should not cry. You a boy, you don't cry. Boys don't cry because what? Crying is a sign of weakness, right? But what we fail to realize is what we're teaching them. If you tell a boy to not cry, you're teaching them to suppress their emotions. So when they grow up, how do they know how to deal with emotions? What are the ways they deal with emotions? Crashing out, substance. They are they commit more crimes at a higher rate in comparison to someone who does know how to have self-control. So I always focus on that statement because I'm like, we need to, not because I believe it's true, but we need to actually dismantle that statement because you are teaching them to suppress their emotions, and we're human. We have emotions for a reason, right?
Absolutely.
And these are the men that we're raising that goes to be somebody's boyfriend, someone's husband, right? Someone's dad. And now we sitting right there complaining about them. But this is what you instilled in them. Yeah. Like this is what you instilled in them. I've had a client, I had a client who went through very similar, and now in his 40s, he's trying to figure out how to be more expressive because he don't know. He was never taught that. And now he's seeing the impact because he's a dad. How can I teach my kids to be expressive if I don't even know how to do that? Yep. I have my girlfriend over here complaining and saying she's going to leave me because I can't even show up and deal with my emotions in a healthy manner because I was never taught that. But those are the men that we raise. That's like it is. Yeah, and even me, I don't have a son, but I try to be mindful with my daughter too, you know, because sometimes kids be tweaking, y'all. But you know, I try to
was
be
that kid that was tweaking.
yeah, so I try to be mindful too of telling her to stop crying or why are you crying about this?
Yeah.
You know, because at the end of the day, she's having an emotional response to what she's feeling, right?
Absolutely.
So it may be me taking a pause, say, hey, you know, if you need to cry, go in your room and cry, take some time. Because I don't want to teach her that she needs to suppress her emotions because that's not normal. Because they have to come out one way or another,
Absolutely.
right? They have to. We don't dictate how they come out, but if we don't know how to appropriately deal with our emotions, it's going to come out in the forms of, like I mentioned, self-medicating, using substance, committing crimes at a higher rate. You'll see more relationships that dealing with DV, because that's the only way they know how to express it. It's just like we talking about a boy that's in an adult body that don't got no place being there. Yeah. He don't belong in no adult
and
body.
He's gonna hurt somebody.
He's gonna hurt someone.
He has the ability to act like a child, but to cause destruction like a man can.
Right, and that's gonna get passed down because he's gonna believe this is the narrative that men can't show emotions because it's a sign of weakness. I always say, like, it goes back to, if I'm gonna keep highlighting back to slavery time, right? Because I have to focus on like slavery, segregation, and even just the systematic racism. Men didn't have a choice but to be strong back then. Yeah, that was a survival coping mechanism versus we have the options. We do have more resources that they had back in the day. That was the only way that they had to be because, of course, showing weakness was a sign of punishment back then. Yeah. We have progressed so forward that it's like, okay, it's okay to get help. Yeah. It's okay to get help. Absolutely. It's okay to say, hey, you are a boy, but just because you're a boy doesn't mean you can't cry.
But that also comes with me. The way I look at it is this: when it comes to like men crying and this and that, there has to be a level of mentorship, leadership, and stuff. Because like when I was overseas, right, and I'm with other men, and like we believe this, like the warrior mentality. We can literally be mentally tough during this thing, but we have to be able to come back and have an outlet, which would usually be your father, uncles, other brothers, and stuff that you can talk to. Yeah, that's a form of counseling to me. Yeah. But when we take that away because there's no more strong men, we don't have nobody to talk to. Yeah. So now we sitting here like, I just want to go talk to my boy about it or my father or whatever. And when you take that away from us, it's like now you really bottled in. Like, I don't know what to do. You hiding all these emotions.
And I'm not even gonna put I think a lot of people have to take fault in this as well because we also have to talk about the relationships, right? Having a partner. If we wasn't taught how to deal with emotions, and now I'm in a relationship, I'm trying to work on this. I'm building that emotional literacy. I have to have a partner that's going to also foster that relationship and not weaponize my emotions.
Absolutely, and that's why I want to say thank you to my wife over here. Is because, and honest, because as a young boy, I didn't. My mother loved me, but she couldn't be my girlfriend at the end of the day. Like, so when I'm moving up forward and have a kid at 16, 15 years old, I needed a strong partner who's like, yo, this young boy is crying on Christmas. Like, what's going on? Yeah. But she was just like, I get it. Like, you ain't got nothing for Christmas. Like, right. So like you never did. So like, just come to my house and let's like kind of do this stuff.
Yeah, let's do our thing.
And as we got older and we did things, she was very much understanding of like, there's trauma here. Like the reason why you get mad over certain things, and we never got into like domestic shit, but it was still like, okay, he gonna fight somebody because of this, or he gonna do this,
because that's the only outlet that he has.
That's it. Yeah. But that understand that be able to have that conversation with a partner, it matters.
It does matter. It matters, especially now, right? We can't go back and say, hey, okay, I didn't have this. Let me go back and give myself that. But what we can do, if I know a part of me is missing, where I wasn't taught those skills, and I'm like, I know I need it because I'm seeing how it's impacting so many relationships. Let me work on that now. Having that partner, which I'm glad you mentioned with Kasani, because having a helpmate matters.
It definitely
because if you're a person, we're talking about men at this point. If you're a man who's like, hey, I never was taught how to communicate. I had to be the head of the household at 5. You'd be surprised. I had to be the head of the household at 15 because my dad wasn't there. So I never had a chance to be a kid. I never had a chance of doing what kids normally do. So now I'm older and my wife needs more from me. My wife doesn't need a boy. My wife does not need a parent, right? she needs a spouse.
Come on now.
And now that you're able
Message.
to
She preaching at
Yeah,
this
she
point.
is. She
but
going in.
now that you're able to recognize that, hey, I didn't have this, but I also realized the importance of it. Not because I'm just a husband, but you're a dad,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Having a helpmate, not any helpmate, y'all. Not any
No, because
helpmate.
the
'Cause
ratchets
everybody not a helpmate.
lead them
Everybody
alone.
not a helpmate, but having a helpmate that doesn't weaponize your trauma in a way that's going to cause you to shut down, because we want to do the opposite. We don't want you to shut down. We want you to be expressive. If you need to cry, cry it out, right? I'm not going to say, oh, your little crybaby. I could cuss?
Yeah, hell
Your
yeah.
little
Cuss
crybaby
it up.
ass. I'm not
Hell
going to get
yeah,
mad at
mother.
you. And I'm not going to get mad at you and
Yeah.
bring that up in a form of weaponizing your emotions and your trauma, right? Because what would that do for a man who already struggled with vulnerability? It will make you shut down.
Yeah, if you
Yeah, that's a
emasculate
trigger.
that,
That's a
it's
trigger.
over.
Yeah.
It's and so and that's perfect the way you put that out there. But there's so much of this like civil discord between men and women right now, and it's because they're competing instead of saying let's help each other, because the best way that to cure the emotional instabilities is to work together.
Yeah.
For real. And but
we both
instead
compete to be dominant though, because we gotta we have to talk about this the strong black woman.
Yeah, there we go.
Exactly.
Oh, that's coming. That's
yeah.
coming.
Yeah, there's
single parents. We have to talk about the single parents too, though, right?
That guard comes up, and
they're
they don't
both
do
competing to be dominant. But you got to also realize that both parties, especially going back to people of color, both parties has been forced to be in a position where they both had to be dominant, right? They both had to be dominant.
Yes.
Even married couples, right? The husband's working, the wife had to take care of everything in the house. We still was dealing with systematic racism though. Right? No matter if we was a couple or not. So you have two genders that's competing to both be dominant, where it's like, yes, back in the day, this is how it was done. And that's something that I had to unlearn myself, which I know we'll talk more about that. But yeah, so it is. But at the end of the day, we're both coming from this whole background that I have to be strong. Yeah. Like, we're both competing to be strong for what?
And it's crazy because we come from the background, and we both look at physically and mentally strong. Where it's like, no, we have to play our parts.
Yeah.
Like,
everyone has a
I
part
don't
to play.
need you to come busting in the room trying to fight people as my wife.
Yeah.
Because somebody that said something disrespectful at school to the kid or something like that, where it's like, okay, you know, like something that we learned doing with our daughter, right? When we go to schools, at the very beginning of them school years and stuff, we're showing up as a family unit.
Yeah.
I want you to see that she got a strong ass dad and a mom that's here, that is very woman-like, and that's very active. Yeah. They gonna treat that kid different.
Yeah.
Because they like,
and they do.
They do. Because you get the elegance and you get the femininity and the masculinity, and you get this family unit, this army that's like, all right, don't mess with their daughter. Yeah. Because she has parents that's going to come get them, right? And I say
and
that
I'm not gonna come in cussing or nothing, but they're like, oh, her mom knows knows who's to talk to, what she needs to do, in the most elegant way, without having to shout and yell. And daddy's the guns, right? Because daddy's strong. But like, absolutely,
right? And I
absolutely,
think too, one of
that's
the things
stronger.
that we're dealing with now as well is women are advancing quicker than men too.
Absolutely.
Where back in the day it was just the men worked. It was more traditional, right? Traditional has changed now, so we also have to deal with the fact that women are advancing quicker than men, and a lot of women are in the mindset where I'm okay with, I don't need a man.
Yeah, but that's it. That's where the problem gets put in, is be like, just because you have a good job doesn't mean you can discard the man.
Yeah.
And vice versa. It's like, because the guy can be making $100K working for the shipyard per se. And it's like, it's not a sexy job, but he gets up, he's working, he's just doing what he got to do.
100K a lot though.
I know, but sometimes they be like, you need to be 300. Like, they just
they be on the exaggerated thing.
Yeah, but the guy, and it age matters. He's 25 years old making 55,000 at the shipyard, but he got room for advancement. There's some women that be like, oh, well, I went to school, I got my degree, I might make 65, but he ain't enough for me.
But listen, you can't go to sleep with your career at night.
Exactly.
You can't go. Your career ain't gonna hold you tight at night when you sad.
Message.
Like, you can't go. But I say it because I've been there. Like, I also been there. I've also, which being a mom has changed so much for me. It has opened my perspective on a lot of things that I didn't even realize that I need to deal with. So I've been there before, but yeah, your career is not gonna hold you tight at night. When your job wanna lay you off because they can, because they doing job reduction. That who's gonna be there helping you through? Who's gonna be there where you can cry on our shoulder? So it's like I think yes, you can be a successful woman, and a successful man as well. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we were not put on this earth to do life by ourselves. And I'm not saying it has to be with a romantic partner. We wasn't put on this earth to do life by ourselves.
No, you gotta do. It's a tribe. We're a tribal people. We're everything is work together.
Yeah.
That phrase that it takes a village to raise children, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, and that means either it's the village that you were raised with or the village that you could create, right? And that could be
Lead Teach Inspire Network. Join the tribe, join the village. It's completely
I want to go back to that statement you made. You made a statement and said women are advancing more than men, right? And I can slightly agree when it comes to maybe career wise, because women, at one sense, were the homemakers, they took care of the children, they didn't work. Men did, and that kind of switched. Now women are working women, now we're career women, now we're degree maker gainers, things like that. Um, that statement is true slightly because the education portion, I think that a lot of women are becoming more educated when it comes to degrees.
Yes, women are advancing at a higher pace than most men, right? And how a lot of times women we do focus on the numbers, right? But also we lead with our accolades as well. Like it's that whole statement of I know what I bring to the table. But when you ask people what they bring to the table, it's always gonna be leading with their success. It's always gonna be leading with I have this degree, I make this much money, I have this type of stability. But what outside of that? Like are you nurturing? Are you a caring partner? Are you considerate? Like, can you communicate? Like things that really matters in marriages, though. Like in relationships and friendships, can you truly communicate? Do you know how to deal with conflict? Right? Are you nurturing? Can I see you as a mother figure? We talk about if we're going to spend life together. So that those things to me for real is surface level. I don't feel like they matter. But I do feel like we do lead with that. But also going back to when men did work, it was because women couldn't work. Right? So we have to look at the history of things. And I think sometimes we don't view things in entirety. We have to look at not through cultural lenses just as well as through historical lenses.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, I like
yeah. And I agree. Yeah. Like the value of men, like you said, the cultural shift with women now being able to work and get degrees and stuff like that. We have to realize that the value of men is beyond a number sign, right? And we have to realize, like,
the value
okay,
of us is beyond.
Yeah, exactly.
Beyond degrees.
Exactly.
Like,
if I'm a working woman now, can my man be able to pick up the kid and take him to soccer practice and show up to the school meetings because I can't? Like that's what the value is. Like maybe he makes a little bit less, or maybe we make the same amount of money, but it's like is his value being transferred differently? Like does that make him more valuable? Absolutely.
Now let's talk about the culture, right?
All right.
And the pray about it and not do anything about it. Like mentality that happens sometimes.
Yeah. I think one of the things I'm gonna keep talking about history, y'all, because history matters so much. Like history matters more than we think, right?
Absolutely.
The church used to be the first form of therapy for a lot of people. The church was therapy. The church was the hospital. The church was a safe space, right? So that even them spiritual anthems that they used to sing, like that was therapy for them, right? So I think especially in our community, and also I realized this too in like the Hispanic community as well. Like it is one of them things where what happens in his house stays in his house, or our first line of the person we go to is the church, right? But I also think that's the beauty of duplicity. Like I can pray about it, but I also can do the work too.
You gotta do the work.
I can do the work as well. Like it doesn't praying about it does not disregard the work that you have to put behind it. So I think the biggest thing is we could recognize that church was the first form of therapy, but it doesn't mean that we can't take the initiative steps to actually like do the work because it does require work, right? Like I could pray I pass this test, but if I don't do the work,
then you ain't gonna pass.
you ain't gonna pass, and then you mad because you ain't passed the test.
That's a really good statement. I appreciate that. Like the statement she made.
Like two
absolutely.
things can coexist though. Like yes, I cause that's me. I'm gonna pray about it, but I'm also about to do the work. All right, God, I gave it to you. Now I need to do my part.
Pray but do the work.
Parts to pay. Like yes, I prayed about it. I gave it to you, but I have to do my part as well. Once I did that,
and I bring that up because it's like you hear it a lot in the black and brown community where it's like people.
our
If you go
grandmothers.
say something, they just like, oh, Jesus will handle it. It's like, oh,
Just
grandma, I
pray
came
about
with
it.
a real problem real
Yeah.
quick. And I just need to see how, as a 11-year-old boy, I can get some help.
Yeah.
And you can't just be like, well, we'll pray about it. Go ahead.
But you know, also too for I say because I think about my grandmother when I think about that. But you know, therapy was taboo in their
Absolutely.
generation, right? But like that was prohibited because you have to think about it too. Talking about therapy was used as a form of punishment, right? Like it was a punishment when you talk about therapy. So their generation is coming from the mindset that you just pray about it, and it's coming from more so a protective standpoint versus I'm disregarding what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, it comes from a protective standpoint because back in the day you couldn't openly talk about what you had going on because you got to also think about this being stereotyped. You know what it means if you have issue. Oh, that boy crazy. That girl got problems.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
it was a stereotype. So yes, a lot of them is gonna go to just pray about it because just praying about it was their protection.
Absolutely.
That's the way to hide behind.
And then we start getting into like the years coming up where it became a throw medicine at every problem. So now the parent is kind of like, don't say that. Like we ain't got nothing wrong with you because they gonna put you on that ADHD.
And then we dealing with the whole part of mistrusting the system, though, right? We dealing with the, you know, one of the things I always think about when it comes to like mental health. I always think about the Tuskegee.
Airmen.
I always think because that ended in 1972. That's
I'm
not
not there Tuskegee Airmen, but the Tuskegee experiment.
Yeah, that ended in 1972, right? You know how the medical system treated people of color.
Yeah.
And when we talk about why don't we discuss why can't we openly say stuff about our mental health, you got to also think about how those things can be weaponized because it was a punishment to have a diagnosis.
Absolutely.
It was a punishment back in the day to have a diagnosis.
Yeah. Even now, it's like you can't get certain jobs.
Yeah.
You get looked at differently.
Thankfully that everything is progressing a little bit more where you know it is some protection around jobs asking about your mental health. But even still, like you know, we talked earlier about the whole CIT rise, and you know, I've known clients who have had mental health, who have been TDO, and that TDO followed them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like so, it is like it's so taboo to address, but it's also like the stereotype that comes with having these diagnoses.
If you get one of them temporary detention orders, like
that
can stop you from doing a lot of stuff.
Jobs. I mean, of course, getting firearms.
Yeah.
If you want to work in certain settings, it can stop you.
Yeah,
So,
and some people could have just one episode because they might have 8 for days or something like.
Yeah.
You know, it could be anything.
They could have took up even medicines right now are a trigger. Stress is a
Like
trigger. You
adverse
could have been
reactions,
went
yeah.
through anything.
Yeah.
Antibiotics. A lot of people don't know that antibiotics can cause psychotic episodes.
Yeah.
And there's people. I think you mentioned one time a police officer who won a case because he went crazy on antibiotics.
And I mean, this dude, when I heard this story,
it
I was
sounds
like,
crazy.
it sounds crazy.
It
Like,
sounds
I don't know
crazy,
how
but
he
it's a
got his
true
job
thing.
back
I mean, I work in healthcare as a nurse.
Went all, like,
Yeah, even like psychosis in for being in the ICU, we have something called ICU delirium, whereas people who usually are normal and all that stuff, they get sick and they're in the ICU for several days. In the ICU, all you can do is sleep, wake up. You get delirious and you end up doing things, saying things, being out of your body that you normally wouldn't, with no other psychiatric history would have.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people don't know about that type of stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of things that can definitely come from that, and you know, those are the type of things that are very seldom spoke about. You know, people, you just like you said, you treat it like it's taboo.
Yeah.
You know, where when I'm talking about mental health and stuff, I'm really talking about like the people having an understanding of their childhood, having an understanding of like how life works, and be like, why am I feeling this way today? And it could be like, hey, because you been working 6 days straight, you need a break.
Yeah.
And let's handle that first.
But you're talking about the self-actualized person.
Yeah.
Right. Somebody who is aware of like, hey, you know, like even women, like we get stereotyped because our period hormones. You get crazy off of hormones.
Yeah.
The way you eat, the way you're irritable, all that is a real thing. And like we often dismiss it, but that's a real thing. People go crazy because of their hormones. Like mental health is very real
Or
for
just being
anybody.
stereotyped at work. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
microaggressions, speaking up for yourself,
Yes,
Oh my
yeah,
right?
God. You
yeah.
ain't
When
lying.
you speak
They
up for
saying she
yourself,
the B word because
she's
she
an
speak her
aggressive
mind. Yeah,
person. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things that I've learned within the
Mhm,
mental health field, when you realize where things originate from, where we trying to, well, when I talk about like trauma or how
mhm,
did we move, take a step forward, figure out where it originates from. Because
mhm,
once you realize where it originates from, you understand the why,
mhm,
right? Understanding why is the first step of moving forward. Like, I understand
mhm,
why it was that way because it was no other options.
mhm,
Hmm.
But we also have to recognize now we have options. We may not have as many, but we have more than what they had.
mhm,
So the origin of things, it help you kind of look, take a step forward
mhm,
versus just staying the same, right? Because
mhm,
it's also saying that, hey, I have to be this way.
mhm,
I don't have no choice. I don't have no choice but to
mhm.
pray about it, right? I don't have
Yep.
a choice but to pray about it and not do nothing else about it.
So help and understand your own vulnerability as a person is going to help you. Is going to be the first step in
Yeah,
your growth, because if you cannot understand your own vulnerability or your own pains and aches and traumas, you will never be able to heal. You will never be able to make that first step forward, and
yeah,
you'll never be able to grow. And as humans, man, woman, whatever you identify as, you want to grow in your career, as a person, in your relationship. That's what our purpose is as people.
yeah,
So that's the first step, is understanding your own vulnerabilities and moving forward from
yeah.
that.
Understanding, also
Mhm.
understanding how without that,
Mhm.
how it's impacting your circle.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because you
Mhm.
could put a lot of
Because
trauma
that's
on
the
your
first,
friends and everything.
you can
Mhm.
that, but that's gonna be the first time you're gonna see it. You may not understand it when you're self inflicted.
Mhm.
You're gonna see it when your friends start calling you out, or when people don't want to be friends with you, or
Yeah, they're not calling you to hang
you
out no
can't stay in a
more.
relationship. That's when you're gonna
Mhm.
start seeing it.
Yep.
It's gonna be what's wrong with me,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? Because some people are not gonna tolerate certain things, right?
Mhm.
Just out of the fact of this is how I am. I hate
Mhm.
that statement.
Me
Mhm.
too.
Like, because what you mean? This is how you are.
Y'all know
So
how I
what you
grew
gonna
up.
do to
Like
change
you
it?
gotta change it.
Yeah, like what you mean?
Yeah,
This is
that's
who you
you, but how
are.
you gonna
Yeah.
change it?
So
And
you telling
Mhm.
me your standards change, but you ain't changed?
Mhm.
they don't.
Nope.
But
Mm-mm.
and that's why I think also going back to like mentorship and stuff is why it's so important because that should be the first level of counseling for a
Yep.
lot of people. Is just having a friend or a family member or somebody in the community that you can just call and be like, man, I had a
Having
rough
that
day.
community, yeah.
You know, having that community helps out, and then you have your therapist and you have everything else
It's
that's
a
on the back.
village though.
It takes
Like
a
you said,
village.
Mhm.
it's a village. It's not
Mhm.
a one man show. It's a village.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
if people start to realize that again, that
Mhm.
like have those conversations and be like, and that's what I like about some aspects of social media is that you can get on there if you look at the right things and be like, all right, somebody has had a real good motivational
Yeah.
sentence on there or
Change your
whatever,
algorithm.
and be like, all right, cool, man, I'm good today. Like
Yeah.
such and such said, get up and get after it because
Mhm.
such and such, and you like, all
Mhm.
right, man, that was
Yeah.
cool. I'm ready to go
Mhm.
now.
Yeah.
So that's some of the good. There's, of course, a bunch of
Or they
negative,
can
but
negatively impact you, right? Because you see a lot of like things you already
most of
feel
it is
some type of
negative.
way.
Most
You
of it
know,
Yeah,
yeah.
because
is negative.
you can
Mhm.
over internalize other people's emotions and
Mhm.
trauma,
Hmm.
which impacts how you deal with your own trauma.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Like
Yeah.
we talked about because we was back home in Jersey a couple weeks ago,
Mhm.
maybe 2 months ago now, whatever. But
A month maybe.
we got back, and I mean, I love everybody there. I love the situation, but it breaks my heart every time we go. Yeah. So going back, talking about survivor's guilt, from like leaving our situation back home in New Jersey
Mhm.
and coming out here, it's like I feel bad when I go home and see the way the conditions are for certain people, especially family members and stuff. And I also feel like a lot of people like are like mad at me
Yeah.
for leaving.
Mhm.
So it's like we all are showing our trauma from like childhood to be like, damn, and people like really like,
Yeah.
cause you left us, and I'm like, I'm the same age as you. I didn't
Staying, what would
want
have
to.
done
Yeah,
that?
it's like I didn't like I didn't purposely leave you,
Mhm.
but we was all we had. Like we was a little army. Like I mean, this is what we had. This is how we ate and survived. So
Mhm.
it's a lot of like
Yeah.
trauma bonding that happened, and now we kind of, what I'm saying, you
Kind of some distance
there's
started
some
happening.
distance, and it
My
kind of
thing
messes up.
is very similar. However, my thing is, what am I guilty for? I will only be guilty if I would have stayed and did nothing about it.
Absolutely,
Mhm.
no,
Right? Like
I
if
agree.
I was gonna stay,
Mhm.
okay, I need to be impactful,
Hmm.
right? Sometimes I'll stay back at home. It's not going to be impactful. Sometimes there's no room for us there, right? So the guilt for me will only come in if I should have did this and this would have been a better position for me.
Yeah.
Right? I can't carry other people's trauma.
No.
I'm also not responsible for um, the inability of someone wanting to move forward in life. I always believe that statement says, nobody has to change in order for you to win. I believe it because I don't have to do anything in order for you to win.
Nope.
I'm the only one who has to put myself in position in order for me to win. Yes, can a village help me? Can it be some cheerleaders, right? Could someone um expose me to certain spaces? Yeah. But ultimately, nobody has to change in order for you to win.
No,
I can't be
absolutely.
responsible for your winning.
Yeah, I think the guilt that some people might carry on is people who are empathetic to other people's pain,
Yeah.
right? But even then, like their pain is not your pain, and you just gotta learn to be like, yes, I understand you're hurt. I understand that you're wounded, and kind of say, but your wound is not my wound.
It's not.
No,
And,
You know?
absolutely.
and also, we can't self abandon ourselves. I
Absolutely.
feel like the worst abandonment that we can have is self abandonment. I know we can talk about like childhood abandonment and all of that, but the self abandonment of me compromising myself at the cost of you. I don't think no one on this planet is worth that.
No.
And this is me even speaking as a mom, and I say that to say you have to have boundaries with people. No one is worth you compromising that self of you at the expense of them. No one.
No, that's absolutely it. I think we talked about this during the parenting episode, and we said even as a parent, there's still a part of you that you have to put yourself first in order to take care of your child.
Yes.
Because if you don't put yourself first and decide you're gonna be lazy, sloppy, whatever it is, the kid is gonna suffer. You gotta help yourself first.
But you know, a lot of people use that. They weaponize that though, right? They weaponize being the way they are because they weaponize neglecting themselves because of their kids.
Absolutely.
They
And that's
weaponize.
not fair to the kids.
It's not fair to the kids, but it's also
And
an
that's
excuse.
wrong.
It's an
That's
excuse
wrong.
too.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's a voluntary excuse, right? It may be something that you may not even realize, but when we say we doing certain things to put our kids first, is also is a cop out in a sense because we're choosing to do these. We choosing to stay the same, even though we know we shouldn't. We choosing to be divisive over certain things, even though we know we shouldn't, right? And I'm using, I'm doing this for the kids. I'm doing this for the kids. I'm doing this for the kids.
But you lying ass. You lying ass. You know you ain't doing that. The little Jamaica team ain't even worried about none of that shit.
But you ain't right.
She ain't worried about none of that. That's how they
Oh,
be.
you crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it be. But I mean, shout out to the culture and in history, like the history of our culture, and that's black and brown because the Ricans do the same thing.
I mean, yeah.
Y'all do the same thing.
Yeah.
Y'all, yeah.
I mean, and we still got it's still a lot of work to be done though. I think now I could go to TV culture, social media.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I wanted to touch on that so
I
bad.
Think now
yes.
we having more representation where people are they advocating that it's okay. Like I listen to Breakfast Club every morning. I feel like every interview that comes up there, Charlamagne always asks somebody about their mental health.
Yes.
I love it though, right? Because I feel like now TV culture has influenced mental health so much. Some good, some bad. Some good, some bad, right? And also you gotta think about it too. TV was also the first form of therapy, like the first exposure of what therapy looks like, right? Because we talk about artists. We'll talk about artists, right? How artists use their music, their creativity as a form of therapy, right? And we relate to that. I hear this song and I'm crying about it, right? I hear this song and I'm getting pissed off about it. I think about the people who love Rod Wave. Like he always pops up in my head. All he do
is cry and sing on his damn thing.
I always think about that because I be seeing like on TikTok, I could be scrolling, I be seeing on TikTok like people at his concerts recording and stuff, they just be crying, right? But the issue about that is, and I mentioned it earlier, we can over internalize other people's trauma, where it's now producing a negative impact on how we deal with our own trauma because we're not even looking to heal it. Yes, I'm gonna listen to this song, I'm gonna cry it out, but I'm not even gonna heal it because I can relate to him. All I need is this song.
And I'm gonna keep doing it too.
Right, but yeah, so then you have like more so like Taraji. I know she has like her own foundation. Charlemagne, like other people who talking about, damn, like this is the point I realized I needed help. This is the point I realized that I was dealing with anxiety, and I didn't know it was anxiety. I thought it was something else. I'm thinking I'm just working hard. I'm thinking my supervisor and managers on me too tough, and it's causing me to just feel down. So you have those ones that's now talking about it, which making it more relevant. Where now a lot of people are coming to get therapy. Like a lot of those sites they advertise, I get a lot of referrals from them. So yeah,
yeah.
Y'all, I'm
like,
so sorry.
Who is it? Not Squarespace. Is it Squarespace? One of them? Not Squarespace. That's the website developer. But a lot of these, like,
they are
Breakfast
advertising
Club, and
it
I'll be
more.
advertising a lot of the like virtual therapists and stuff like that.
Yeah, and also too, like one of the things that we talked about earlier when we was talking about intergenerational trauma and mistrusted systems is more therapists that look like us, right?
Yes.
It's more therapists that look like us that understand us, right? That again, they're not just viewing things from a historical lens; they're also able to view it from a cultural lens too. You know, we have therapy for Black men. We have Black girls therapy. We have a lot of sites that's geared towards people who come from very similar background from us. So we don't have to worry about the fact of, am I going to be protected? We don't have to worry about, are they going to abuse me mentally, right? Am I just going to be fed certain things because this is what they're supposed to? Is this a way to keep me down?
Even as simple as language matters, right? Because in a hospital setting, because that's my experience, I code switch. So when I have a patient, I know, do I need to sound, do I have to pull that degree out so that you can trust me, right? Do I got to pull the big words out? Or do I need to talk to you like your, like I could, do I got to talk to you like your cousin? Do I got to talk to you like a sister for you to feel like you can trust me and that I got your back? So, like you said, they look like me, but do they sound like me too? Can they talk to me and tell me what I need to know without using those big words? Because I don't want to, I don't want to tell them I don't get what she's saying, but if the therapist, if I have a good therapist who understands where I come from or how I talk or how I, how my culture is, if she able to bring it down to the level where I understand and I now feel comfortable. Now I don't feel dumb. Now I don't feel stupid saying how I feel. And, I don't got to sound like I sound silly.
Right. Because, having a therapist, like, this one of the things that I always do when I have a new client, when I do my intake. I always say, ultimately, I want to see if we're a great fit, right? Because
right.
If you may be like, hey, yeah, you cool and all, but Quanesha, I think I want to go another route. I think I might want to focus on something else that I can find with someone else. I tell people that because at the end of the day, don't hinder your own progress just based off not being comfortable. Don't hinder your progress just because you're not comfortable. Advocate for yourself. Speak up because therapy isn't one size fit all. You have to date your therapist, right? You have to make sure you're able to connect to your therapist because most people get so discouraged and they'll say therapy didn't work for me, and it's like I asked, did it not work, or do you feel like you didn't have the right therapist?
Yeah,
I get that. And we pushing on time, so we gotta definitely reschedule part
we
two,
definitely
part
have to have a
three.
part two.
I think I love this. Wow, this was
But
really
before we
fun.
close, I just wanted to get Kwa's opinion.
All right, let's do it.
Because she was talking about Breakfast Club and stuff like that. It was a very big interview that happened with Keisha Core. Is it Keisha Core and Gucci Mane?
Yeah, or something like
Did
that.
you?
I did not watch it.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of.
You seen some clips and stuff like that?
Social media. I did not watch it.
Okay.
I didn't watch the whole thing yet either.
Yeah.
But I've seen the clips.
And if the one thing I can touch on is mental health don't look one way, and I think that's the from the clips that I saw, that was the primary focus. Mental health do not look one way, right? Because so many things go on, you don't even realize people are having a psychotic episode. You don't because it's not one size fit all.
Yeah, and like I didn't even know Gucci had mental health disorder. I think everybody should have some sort of mental health check engine, like you should always like check in with yourself and have some sort of like, am I good, am I okay, am I feeling like this because I'm tired or I work too much? Everybody should have that. Like you said, mental health looks very different, and his family might have not noticed that he was getting ready to go into a manic episode or whatever, but and he was giving all his things away, and maybe they're like, oh, like, maybe some people,
friendly.
yeah, some
Yeah,
people
they
probably
just start
like
being
taking like, oh yeah, he got the money, he could do it, but the fact that his wife was able to recognize that no, he's about to go down a spiral. Like this is the manic, and now he's about to come down. And her being able to recognize it before he was in denial about it, and kind of catching on to it and being able to do that. Like I think that was like, not to go off topic because I don't want to keep going down, but like Kanye West and Kim, right? And Keisha and Gucci. I think the difference between them is they're partners. Like your partner, like you mentioned, your partner does matter, especially in an instance like that. Not saying that your partner should carry the load of your mental health, but it does matter in the success of dating somebody with mental health.
And also understanding too that just because we have certain symptoms, signs, it doesn't always mean we have a mental health diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because we hear that my least favorite is I'm bipolar because I'm moody.
Oh yeah.
That's the least, because I've heard it so often. Like people like, y'all think I'm bipolar? Why? My mood be changed. 1 minute I'm happy, 1 minute I'm sad. That's not bipolar.
Or when
And
people
a lot of
diagnose every
women,
guy with
a lot of women be
narcissist.
saying
I
these
hate
men
that
are
word.
That's what the
narcissists.
next training need. I mean, the next
That's trending
session
topic.
need to
Okay,
be on,
we gonna do that.
I've had training in that, but yeah.
We gonna do.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back to the Family Business Podcast, and this has been fun. But what we gonna do is
we're gonna close out.
We gonna do this again because
Yeah.
this was a lot of fun.
We barely scratching the surface.
We could sit down and talk for hours.
Yes.
On this, like I really enjoyed this conversation.
Good.
I appreciate you coming out.
Invited me. This has been good.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming, Kwa. Tell us where people can find you. You said you have your own. You're a founder of a program. Tell them what that program is. Tell them the website, all that stuff. Give them a little bit of
what they can. My website is liftcounselingva.org. That is also my Instagram page. So I pretty much try to post most of my information on my website. I'm not really that good with social media just because social media is long, y'all. It's so it requires a lot. But
we're gonna get her some help with that.
In 2026, my goal is to really like go heavy in on social media. So yes, to connect with me, LinkedIn, Quanesha Wallace. I'm very active on my LinkedIn. But yeah, so best way to contact me, go to my website, www.liftcounselingva.org.
And we would love to work with our good friend further and be able to link people with her and stuff like that through our program to her program. So yeah, we'll do that. And this is a good start because people love to see clips of like, counselors and this and stuff and all that.
Yeah.
It bring a lot of traffic to you. And
any kids, I also have resources for kids to get them connected to intensive in-home. Listen, we changing the world every step of every person, every little person. So adult counseling, children counseling, intensive in-home for any kids that may be displaying any maladaptive behaviors. Yeah, one-stop shop, y'all. One-stop shop.
You just want somebody to talk to. She got you. Hit her up. Hit her up. It don't gotta be. You don't have to have a diagnosis to talk to somebody. Because sometimes it's good to feel like, let me unwind. Let me unpack everything I got. Let me just. Do I sound like I'm off? Do I sound like I'm crazy? Like,
listen,
you got that person. You got that special.
Come if you ready
specialist.
to do the work.
You get what I'm saying?
If you ready to make a change, I'm your girl. If you're ready to make a change, because I am not feeding into nobody delusion. And if you're ready to make a change, yes, definitely connect with me.
So what she says, if you bullshit, and she gonna tell you bullshit.
Yes, I am. I actually am.
And that's who you need. That's who you need.
That's a real counselor right there.
Because time don't heal wounds.
Yeah.
Work does.
Yeah.
So get the work done.
Well, again, like I said, season 2. This is the first episode of season 2. It's been fun. Rome the ruler.
Kasani_RN.
And we're gonna throw all her socials up there.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
we're gonna be back because it doesn't take anything but time to sit down and have a conversation.
Absolutely.
So we'll do different location, different settings.